Hello, Internet. If you're an artist or a musician of any kind, you've probably worried about the concept of originality before and making sure that you make something that's new and fresh and hasn't been done before and isn't just a replica of something else. But I'm here to tell you that originality doesn't exist. It's a myth. You don't have to worry about it. You just got to make music. So let's get into it. All right. So, originality, right? It's original things that you thought of yourself that have not existed before. Maybe it's like an amalgamation of your tastes that you kind of put in a blender, spit it out, and it's something new, right? So, why do you like the things that you like in the first place? Like, let's say you're into a certain genre of music, and that is what makes you original because you're making something that hasn't used these two genres before, let's say. Why do you like those genres of music in the first place? Maybe somebody showed you them and then you were like, "Oh, this is really cool," and then you got more into it. The person showing it to you is the reason that you even found out about it in the first place, right? So, you didn't really have control of that happening. You maybe consciously decided to investigate further, and you could say that that's like, in your control, but why did you want to investigate further in the first place? What made you want to keep going down that path of learning more about that genre of music? Did you just innately like that music and you didn't know until you discovered it? You know what I'm saying? So it's like even something that you think you decided to like, you really didn't. Because even if you say, like, "Oh, well, I could have found this genre another time and I still would have liked it, even if this person didn't show it to me." Okay, well, why do you like it still? That still is like an unanswered question, you know? It's just something that you can't control. If you like something, you like it. It's an innate thing. It's like an intuitive feeling that you didn't decide to have. You know what I mean? Like I think there are people that are like, maybe naturally talented at birth and have a better time. It's easier for them to get better at something, but they still had to be interested to keep pursuing it, you know? And if someone's forcing them to do it, then that's definitely not a conscious choice. That's a whole other thing we're not going to talk about. But I just think a lot of artists get caught up in the idea of originality, not really knowing why. Why is everybody so obsessed with originality? It's because nobody wants to admit that they're influenced by anybody. Nobody wants to admit that they're taking pieces from other people. But there's no other way to do that. If you make beats and you use 808s, like that wasn't your idea. You know what I'm saying? Like using an 808 in a beat is not original, but that doesn't mean it's bad. But that's that's the same thing for everything. Like you like what you like. You can't really help liking what you like, and then you make what you like. It doesn't have to be more complicated than that. You don't have to be reinventing the wheel constantly. All of the most popular songs throughout history are usually about the same like 6 to 7 topics. They're formatted in a very similar way, but the style is different, the genre is different, maybe the formatting is slightly different to make it stand out a little bit, or there's like a sound in the song that's different that makes it stand out. But a lot of pop music is pretty much the same thing if you boil it down, you know? Everybody knows this. So, if you're an artist and you're making music, why are you so obsessed with being original and being different when the most important music in the world is not necessarily groundbreaking and original? You know what I mean? It's just music that people like. And as I always say, you should like the music. You should like what you're making, in my opinion. If you're going for expression through art, you should be making things that you like, right? So if you like it and you make it, then it's coming from you. Nobody else made it. Nobody else could make it how you made it. So I don't know. I think this is something I've gotten really caught up with in the past, like trying to figure out what my identity is, like what my voice is in music and in art. But lately, and this is a more recent thing for me, but it's an idea that I've had in the back of my head for a while, but it's just been hard to actually enact into reality when I'm creating. just make music. Just make whatever. It really doesn't matter. Like, if you down the road get a professional job as a musician and you have to do certain things, then yeah, maybe change it up then. But if that's not your goal, or if that is your goal, but you're not there yet, you need to make what you want to make because artists want to work with artists. People don't want to work with subpar versions of other artists. But at the same time, thinking that you will be one of those things is going to get you caught up and not make the best art that you can make. If you're sitting there making a beat and you're like, I've heard this 808 before in another beat, so I shouldn't use it because people are going to think I'm not original or whatever. But in your mind, that is the right thing to use in that beat, then just use it. Who cares? It really, really, really doesn't matter. Like, stop thinking of yourself as this big famous artist when you're just making music in your room. Like, again, artists like artists. People like artists. They like people that are creative. They like people that are doing what they want. That's a big part of art, and the reason why people like art is because there's a freedom of expression that doesn't exist outside of the world of art and music. So people seek it out in music, whether you're creating it or just listening to it. And there's genres of music for a reason. I don't think that people should get too caught up in genres, but it's because there's certain sounds that people gravitate towards. There's certain things that people are naturally attracted to. And it's kind of hard to really explain why when you drill down to the center of it. And that's what I'm saying about originality is it really doesn't exist because anything that you can say is original has been done before. There's a quote, I forget who said this quote, but the quote is, everything has already been said, but nobody was listening, so it needs to be said again. So basically, it's like, it doesn't matter if you are doing something that's already been done. Obviously, just straight up carbon copying something that's already been done, maybe don't do that because people are going to notice it and they're not going to connect with it because it's going to come off as disingenuous. It's going to come off as, amateur, whatever. Again, if you want to do that, you still should. I mean, that's essentially what type beats are, right? It's just copying another person fully. People love that. But it depends on what your intention is. Like, if your intention is to find people that just want to use your beats for whatever and they want it to be similar to another artist, then yeah, make type beats. Okay, I'm getting on a little bit of a tangent, but I think you get what I'm saying. Like, intention matters, but how people perceive it is always going to be different than what you expect. So I don't think people should get so caught up in worrying about being original because if it comes from you, it's original. If you made it, then it's original because there is no other you. There is no one else that could have made it exactly like you made it because you are you. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. This is something I've been thinking about a lot lately because I've been making a lot of new music and I'm really excited about the stuff that I've been making. So this has been on my mind. That's what my videos are, just things that have been in my mind. I'm not trying to convince anybody of anything. I'm not trying to change anybody's mind. So let me know what you guys think. Does originality exist? How do you think it fits into the context of making art? I put a new video out every Sunday. So if you like this one, you can come back next week for a new one, and I will see you then.